Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Avrin at Tea Reviewing 2. Welcome to my channel. If you love tea like me, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Today, we're going to be making matcha Oreo balls. 4 simple ingredients here: 40 Oreo cookies, 8 grams of matcha, which you can lessen that or increase that depending on how much of a matcha taste you want these to have. 2 cups of chocolate melting wafers or chocolate bars or some kind of chocolate element to melt, basically. You can use chocolate chips. It just may take longer for those to melt. And 8 ounces of cream cheese, which you're going to want to sit this out and let this reach room temperature, so about 20 to 30 minutes on the counter somewhere, something like that. And for this recipe right here, for this video, I'm just going to use the white vanilla flavor melting wafers, so it will turn that green for you right here. And you can use, of course, the chocolate, but you just won't have them as green. It won't be pretty much green like it's going to be with the white vanilla flavored chocolate right here. And then first, you want to use some kind of a food processor or similar device so you can get the Oreo cookies into fine cookie crumbs. So whatever kind of device you have around the kitchen, I'm just going to use this food processor right here. As you can see, it's kind of small, so I'm going to use about 10 cookies at a time and just process them, put them in the bowl, process them, put them in the bowl. So you're gonna do 10 cookies, but we're gonna do 40 total cookies right here. So that's what I'm talking about right there. Nice fine cookie crumbs. And this works very well for that. So some kind of food processors to do that. But see, this is just 10 cookies right here. So we're gonna do this 3 more times, dump it in a bowl, 10 more cookies, dump it in a bowl, 10 more cookies. Yes, you get the idea. And now we have a total of 40 Oreo cookies in a fine cookie crumb form, ready for the next part of the recipe. And now we're gonna get to some more mixing. We're gonna use the 8 ounces of the cream cheese, as well as all the cookie crumbs and the matcha. Now you can use your hand and use a combination of some kind of spatula, whisk, fork to do this. It's the first time I did it, that's the way I did it. So that does work by hand for sure. But this time I'm gonna do a hand mixer. So this will work as well. And I'm gonna kind of just break this apart a little bit just to start up the mixing. I don't want to just use that one block right there. We're just going to kind of cut that up a little bit, make the mixing process maybe go a little bit more easier, a little bit more smoother. We've got the cookie crumbs in there. Now it's time for that green goodness. And now we're going to get 4 grams of matcha in here, and we're going to sift it, each scoop right here. So it's going to be half a teaspoon for each gram. We're going to do this 4 times. Just whisk that matcha into the bowl. You get down to that last bit, kind of get your teaspoon right there and press it down against the sifter and start going like that again. I'm gonna get as much as that 4 grams of matcha in there as possible. All right, now let's get to whisking. So we got 4 ounces of cream cheese in there, and we're gonna add the other 4 ounces right now to give a total of 8 ounces of cream cheese. And you can see it's clumping right now together, so it's mixing pretty well right here, but I'm gonna get in there a little bit more. If you use a whisk like this, of course, the bad thing is that it does get kind of clumped up in there. I like to use a mix of the electric whisk and the hand whisk right there, but however preference you want to use is definitely totally fine. You can do all hand mixing or all electric whisking, whatever works for you. You might have one of the, professional grade mixers going on right here, and I'm sure that's way better than this and way less messy. So however you want to mix, it's definitely fine. All right, now this is where it's gonna get a little bit more messy right here, because we're gonna get in there with your hands. And so we're gonna roll the Oreo balls into a nice circle roll, ball right here, and place them on some kind of baking sheet. You can use, a regular baking sheet with some parchment paper, something kind of disposable, or, a few uses like this, however, what kind of baking sheet you wanna use. So now I'm gonna roll the mixture right here into balls, and you can change the size of these, of course. You know, if you want to get more balls, you want a smaller, you could do that. I kind of do just kind of a regular kind of size amount right here, so I'll kind of show you the size of the balls I'm talking about. So that right there is about the size I'm going for. And just gonna roll these together. And so this is gonna yield about 30 to 35 balls total right here, depending on the size. And so I'm not gonna make you watch this whole process right here, so we'll speed this up. And of course, if you get to one of the balls and you're realizing, oh, that's too big or too small, you can definitely take away, re-roll, or add some in, re-roll. And now that we're finished with the rolling, I got a total of 30 balls exactly right here. And so as you can see with the variations in size, there are some that are kind of bigger than the other ones. So you can get more or less depending on the size of the Oreo balls that you're making when you're rolling them. And so now we're gonna place these trays in the freezer for 15 minutes. Now this part is very important because you want these to set and get a little hard right there to make them easier when you're dipping them in the chocolate and everything. So in the freezer for 15 minutes. And now that it's almost time to get the balls out of the freezer, we're gonna go ahead and melt the chocolate wafers with the matcha to get that ready so they can be dipped into this. And you know, you gotta taste them, right? Just to taste test to make sure it's all right, you know, make sure it's safe. Yeah, that's nice. So we're gonna do about 2 cups. Do another cup. And this bag pretty much gives you exactly 2 cups. And so now I'm gonna melt the wafers in the microwave. So make sure you're using some kind of microwave safe bowl, or you can use the stove top, however you like to melt things basically. And so I'm gonna kind of change the times between 30 seconds, check on it, another 30 seconds, check on it, just to make sure it's all melted. And I'm gonna have a spoon as well, and just make sure there's no big clumps or anything like that. And so you see right there, that's 30 seconds pretty much. So just a little melting going on. So I'm just gonna mix it up some more, put it back in the microwave, 30 seconds, mix it up some more. Just keep doing that until it's fully melted. And of course, same thing with the stove top if you're using that. Just make sure you're kind of stirring it to make sure it's all dissolved and no big clumps or anything like that. And that's 30 more seconds. So you see we are getting there. Just gonna keep mixing and melting. Okay, that was another 30 seconds. So you see we are definitely getting there. I'm gonna do about 10, 15 more seconds right now. Then we're gonna add the matcha. And so now we're gonna add 4 grams of matcha, so 2 teaspoons. All right, we've got 4 grams of matcha right there, and we're gonna use the sifter just to get that into the bowl very nicely. All right, now we got that spoon going, and we're just gonna mix it in there some more. And now that we got the Oreo balls out of the freezer, we're going to dip them in the chocolate, or the matcha chocolate in this situation. And I like to use the fork to kind of lift them out. It's a little less messy and you won't waste as much of the chocolate and everything. So we just kind of dip in, roll it, how you're going to roll it. You can cover it if you want to. You just kind of lift out. You can hit it up against the side of the bowl to make sure it just kind of drips down some, because you don't need it too covered. Just one real dipping really gets it nicely covered right there. I'm gonna set it back into the tray, and we're gonna do this for each and every ball right here. And I got the first tray done here. So at this point, if you wanted to, before you put them in the refrigerator, you can decorate them some more with some more chocolate. You know, maybe you want to put a dark chocolate on now to kind of make some contrast, or just a white chocolate plain, make some contrast, or matcha, or cookie crumbles, peanuts, peppermints, whatever you want to use to kind of decorate them if you want. I just like to eat them plain, so I'm just gonna have them just like this. And now you wanna put them in the refrigerator and let them sit there for at least about an hour. So I'm gonna put this first tray in the refrigerator and let them sit, and then finish up the second tray here. And on to the next tray. Same thing here, just dipping them in the melted chocolate and lifting them up with the fork. Letting it drain a little. Back on the tray. And for the remaining amount, just gonna kind of get a spatula. Show some love to the ones that didn't get covered enough. And now we're going to set the remaining Matcha Oreo balls into the refrigerator and let them sit with the other ones for about an hour. And the final result, the matcha Oreo balls have been in the refrigerator for an hour, and now we can keep them in storage. For storage of the matcha Oreo balls, you want to use some kind of airtight container like Tupperware. So I had a couple of these that I've been putting mine in right here, and these will last in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks or longer in the freezer. But you definitely want to keep them in the refrigerator when you're just storing them and you're not planning on eating them in the next, hour or so or something like that. And let's get a taste of these and let you see the inside up close, the outside right here. And so yeah, as you see, with the bottom, not complete circles, when you peel them off the tray or the baking sheet, they will just kind of pick up whatever is surrounding them. So if you want it to be a little bit more clean, you can kind of cut around it if you want, after you dip them in the chocolate in the matcha, or you could do it after they've been in the refrigerator and they've chilled and everything. But these are chilled and nice. Let's get a taste. Nice crunch on the exterior, soft interior. Nice contrast in mouthfeel and the taste. Oh yes, the taste. These are delicious. Definitely taste the Oreo, got the matcha, the chocolate, vanilla. Oh yes. These are so good. And there's matcha on the inside, but you can't really notice that too much. You don't really see. If you look real closely, sometimes you can see little green specks. But there's matcha on the inside, and definitely, of course, matcha on the outside. You can tell there's matcha on the outside. And that is it with how to make matcha Oreo balls with me, Avrin, at Tea Reviewing 2. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Enjoy that cup of tea you've got, or that matcha Oreo ball, or matcha cookie, or whatnot. Take care.